fighter.
Welcome, Patriots. Happy Wednesday night. Welcome to the America First Patriot Hour. This is Leo the Lion, and tonight we have a special guest on the show. You know him as former House Representative, New York's 3rd District Congressman, George Santos, and I'm going to bring George on. He's going to be a little bit limited in time tonight, but you know what? We have so much cool stuff happening, so much crazy shit going on. I just thought it would be great to have somebody who understands kind of what happens behind the scenes, what happens in D.C., in Congress, all the stuff that's taking place right now that Gates and all these guys are going to have to go through as we try to push through all of Trump's appointees. So without further ado, let me go ahead and get George in here. Let's get this thing going. George, welcome.
Leo,
can you hear me?
How are you?
Great.
Good.
Excellent.
I can hear you fine.
Super. Thank you, dude. Thanks for coming, man. I really appreciate you being on. This is the America First Patriot Hour. We are all about trying to get real patriots on and get people on that's got a good voice. They're America First. I've been doing this for, 9 months now. I started this show, and we did it because we was trying to get Trump back in there, and you know, there's so many rhinos, and I guess I want to kind of start there. Just give me your thoughts on what you've seen so far. We talked a little bit about Gates. That one kind of threw me a little bit, but I think it's a great choice. And Trump isn't about to let the status quo go, is he?
No. So I think what you're seeing here is a president-elect with a mandate trying to break the fever of the swamp in Washington, D.C. And as my good friend, soon-to-be Attorney General Congressman Gates would say, it's time the fever breaks because it's important and imperative for the continuity of our country. So the fever's breaking and people are having a wake-up call that this is what a mandate looks like. This is what the people want. Look, today wasn't a great day, Leo. And you know what's even more beautiful is that we scheduled this weeks ago, actually over a month ago. And the fact that we chose this day, and today is the day that we get to talk about all of this, it's almost like the stars were aligned way back a couple of weeks ago when we first scheduled it to have this perfect storm happen today.
It's funny how, you know, timing kind of seems to work that way. You know, it's God has a purpose. There's a reason behind stuff. I always say karma can be quite a bitch, but she will catch up with you sooner or later.
I'll say this. I usually tell that to people. Karma's a bitch, and I like her served cold. And I've been having I've been going through like this interesting point right now where I'm in absolute ecstasy and glee to see former President Trump return to be President-elect Trump, but also to see people I know, trust, believe that I know these folks have an impeachable character like Matt Gaetz, like Elise Stefanik, like Kash Patel, like Marco Rubio. These are people with unimpeachable characters. They are good Americans with good moral values, with good characters, and they care deeply about this country. To see that these are the people that President Trump are going to send into the UN or to be Secretary of State or FBI Director and Attorney General is exactly what we need. And I can't tell you how excited, how happy I am to be able to witness this in my lifetime. I'm 36 years old. I never thought I'd see a government formed by regular people. And yet here we are watching a government being 100% formed by everyday Americans, people who are no different than you and I, Leo. And it really brings me to this breaking point of joy and emotion. But you see that earlier today, we were all upset when Senator Jon Kahn became the majority leader in the Senate, because that is remnants of the swamp fighting an existential crisis imposed upon them by we the people. And they are going to fight back. And we need to keep the pressure on and support for President Trump so that the Senate, the House, and any bureaucrat is on notice that we, the people, gave this president a mandate, and how dare you stand in between that.
So I think the people, like I said, over the last 8 months, but really over the last 4 years since the 2020 election, so much has transpired, so much has happened. We watched America almost get turned into a socialist, totalitarian type place to live. The Democrats were doing everything they could to harm America. I mean, for guys like me, guys like you, when you sit back and you watch it, I'm thinking to myself, this is all intentional. They're trying to change Western civilization. They're trying to change the fabric of America. Open borders, illegal things, all this stuff that not supporting crime, letting people out countless times, inflation, economy. It just was a systematic attack, George. I mean, it just was the most incredible thing I've ever seen. And so when I sat down and we got into 2024, I'm like, okay, 91 charges, 34 felonies, 2 assassination attempts. They've thrown everything but the kitchen sink at this man, and they couldn't stop him. And now you're getting to see the will of the people through Trump.
Well, to your point, right? Lawfare, indictments, political persecution, assassination attempt. Mm-hmm. I mean, nothing stopped him. The American people felt connected, related. This guy was serving French fries at a McDonald's. Then he drove a garbage truck. I'm sorry. You can't make this stuff up. Like, the man is as in touch with the everyday American as ever. He gives Bill Clinton a run for his money on being a retail politician. And Bill Clinton truly was the retail politician. So I think it's great to see President Trump's back in the White House. And to the points you've made there is, yes, we came very close to the doorsteps of Marxism. We saw what Marxism looks like. Recidivism in the criminal justice department was absolutely unbearable. I'm from New York City. So, Leo, I hope you can appreciate that when I tell you it can get bad, it gets really bad.
So, George, let's do it. Do me a little bit of a favor here. Let's talk a little bit about some key things that we heard today. And why is it important? So, before we came on, George, your camera went out, I think. There we go. Okay. We're back.
There we go.
No worries.
Hey, you do it live, you get glitches. That was probably me adjusting my earphone. I think I pressed the button. So my bad to you and your viewers.
No, not at all. And everybody's watching, man. They all want to see. Yeah, they all want to see what's happening. So good stuff. So my assistant just come to tell me, hey, we got to talk about Rumble. I'm like, okay, we'll talk about Rumble here. We'll talk about it in a second. So let's talk about 2 keywords we heard today. Recess appointments. George, tell us a little bit about that, why that's important, and why did Trump push that so hard?
I think that it's because in history, we've seen that the Senate and politicians in general, the one thing they stay true to is their vacation time and their recess. And Trump wanted a commitment from a Senate Majority Leader that they would push through appointments through scheduled recess and that they would 100% not leave until the entire government was confirmed. And I think that that was a great sword to put some of these guys on the record to fall on, because the moment they give up and the moment that they fail that promise, you're on record. The American people see you. So I think that was a very good chess move, and it's 4D chess that President Trump's playing. And I think, look at Matt Gaetz being appointed. That is the most eloquent game of chess maneuvering you will ever see. Mm-hmm. Oh, you all are America first. You're all about President Trump. Great. Now confirm my nominations.
You can almost see that coming too, because he stayed out of the Senate Majority Leader thing. You know, he didn't go ahead and put his weight behind Rick Scott, which I'm sure he would have wanted to. And he ended up with Thune. But the first day they get Thune then has the conversation with him. Then he says, oh, yeah, we're going to push through everything. And then Trump comes with the winger Well, he comes with Tulsi, which we knew was coming, for Director of National Intelligence, and then he comes with Matt. And I'm like, oh boy. And after Pete Hegseth, the left right now is just coming unglued. So it's a great time to be an America First patriot right now, George.
You know what? As somebody who's subscribed and heard to the America First movement and the MAGA culture from the moment Donald Trump came down the golden escalators of Trump Tower on Fifth Avenue, you know what? I just learn more and more every day how much I love this country and how much I love the people I meet throughout this path. And you're always learning. I love that you just said the left is coming unglued. I will definitely be adding that to the arsenal and repertoire of things to say on air.
Well, it's like Elon said tonight, because, I spend a lot of time on X. So I'm on, guys. If you're watching Rumble, YouTube, and X, we're on with George Santos. And George was kind enough about a month ago. We hooked up and asked him if he'd come on post-election because, see, Leo the Lion here, using common sense, George, because I don't have any inside sources. I said Trump will win 312. He'll exceed 300 electoral, and he'll win the popular vote. And I said this 4 months ago. And so, of course, all my people were like, oh, my God, they're going to cheat. They're going to steal. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. And I said, you know what? I don't think this is 2020 anymore. And with the RNC...
It's not. It wasn't. Yeah, so let me walk you through 2020, because you know what? I have something I can relate to. I, too, was a candidate for federal office in 2020 who was the presumptive winner of the race for 2 weeks. And then I wasn't. I attended congressional orientation only to be sent home and say, hey, it wasn't this time, right? But let me tell you something about 2020. In 2024, I am a deeply concerned American citizen in search for 14 million people, and I need your help to find them. Where did they go? That's literally my question. Where are the 14 million electorates that are missing from this election totals? And I'm deeply concerned that these people's well-being are a top priority for me. And I really hope that Attorney General Gates goes on a mission to find them and make sure that they're well.
Yeah. You look at the graphs.
I'm sorry for the sarcasm. I say it with a straight face.
I love the sarcasm. It's kind of how we've all felt, because we watch this stuff. And like my second grade granddaughter could look at me, watch the stuff they're doing, and say, okay, there's something wrong with these people. What are they doing that for? And you're like, I don't know. I don't understand. It's like 15 million, perfect blip. 68, 72, 74, 81, back to 60, 72 million. And you're like, okay. Well, I guess they really did use COVID to their benefit, and COVID was, in my estimation, a man-made bioweapon that was probably used to alter 2020. Now, that's just me, and that's just my opinion, George, but Fauci is definitely...
I think COVID was definitely not created by bats, as we were spoon-fed to believe somebody ate bat soup in China. I think we've seen too much evidence to rebuke that, and that we know that COVID-19 came from a lab. It was a weaponized virus. It was gain-of-function testing on the chemical war that is ahead. And if that is a lab leak, can you imagine what else they have conjured up in these labs? I am absolutely frightened for my life when I think of it.
It's truly terrifying. It really is. But speaking of terrifying, I would imagine that Anthony Fauci, hearing Matt Gaetz as the Attorney General, along with a whole bunch of other deep state people, are probably feeling pretty scared tonight.
There's a few people that I wouldn't envy to be in their skin tonight on this beautiful, glorious November 13th night. There's some people in really shady standings right now that should be questioning what their next move is before their passports get confiscated when they're brought to justice for their crimes and their heinous acts against America.
How many of those people do you think? Just an approximate, because I've tried to think about this many times, and I'm like,
how deep is the deep state in the swamp? You just got to figure out the body count of how deep it is, and then you'll know. And then you multiply it across the spectrum. Is it 9 people deep? 300 people wide? Is it
right.
100 people deep, 2,000 people wide? And then you just do the math. It's a tabulation game, and I think that there's going to be a lot of people scared, nervous, and they should, because if you've committed acts against the United States, you will be held accountable. If you orchestrated a fraudulent election in 2020, you will be held accountable. If you caused the death of millions of people globally through a weaponized virus with gain of function studies behind it, with U.S. taxpayer dollars in obscure funneled formats, you will go to jail. I don't care if you're 84 and you're too kind and old to stand trial. This is not Merrick Garland's DOJ. This will be a true DOJ without any biases and any partisanship.
Which is kind of what America is supposed to be all about. Nonpartisan. Follow the letter of the law. Lady Liberty. She's not supposed to have any stake in the game, but when you're dealing with Democrats, everything is weaponized. The DOJ, the FBI, the intelligence apparatuses, which I would imagine all of those entities right now, all 3-letter agencies right now, have got to be filling a little bit of the push. So is Cash going to be the FBI guy? Is he going to get the FBI director?
Hey, I don't know. I don't have privileged information. If I did, I couldn't tell you anyway. But
what's your guess?
It seems like all the room. Oh, look, my guess is Kash Patel will have a place in the administration. And I think that's a fair statement to say. Like we all knew Tulsi would, and we all knew Gates has. It's a matter of he will have a place. Now, where that place is, if it's FBI director, I'm not mad. Kash Patel is a Long Island, New York treasure. And to see him elevated to one of the highest and most important offices in the nation is an honor, a pleasure, and it makes me absolutely proud to see it happen.
Yeah, there's so many great people. Rick Grinnell, Cash. I'm wondering, and of course Bobby's out there. I'm sure they're saving the big one for last. So, Elon, what an incredible man to come and buy X and do all that he's done, and now him and Vivek talking about Doge. What's your thoughts on Doge? The department.
I think that the department. Yep. Go ahead.
No, you do it.
All right. I think the Department of Government Efficiency is not only a long time coming and very needed, but it's also a cure to a nasty disease called bureaucracy. We will see the cure to bureaucracy in the Doge department, spearheaded by Elon Musk, who is not just an incredible individual by merit, but somebody who is deeply, deeply concerned about the $35 trillion in debt that this country's in. And then you have Vivek Ramaswamy, a prolific entrepreneur, a man that's 38 years old, who is wiser beyond his years and an absolute genius. These two men in this department, the left is trying to say, oh, look, a redundant department created 2 redundant jobs. No, a department that will cure redundancies in 2 fronts, not just one, so that it can be done in 4 years, has 2 of the best men in this country to go ahead and do those cures. So I'm very proud to see that Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy will be able to cut the deep state in half at bare minimum in the next 12 calendar months.
So we're explaining and talking through the eradication of the deep state, or at least the start of it. What's left for them to do? Because I don't trust them still, and there's still got to be something, because they still have 7 weeks to go, right? Because we talked a little bit about why Gates resigned immediately, and you said because you'd need that much time to go ahead and have the special election so that it's not. So, but why? I guess why do that though? Isn't that kind of putting all your eggs in one basket? If he resigns,
no,
walk me through that, George. Because let's say he doesn't get the attorney general, what happens?
Oh, Gates goes off and lives his best life ever. You know, he's done his time. He's served his people. He served his country. But I think it's simple. There's other roles in the administration that Matt Gaetz can take that do not require Senate confirmation, right? But I'm not even going there because I feel it in my gut. I will be able to have the distinct pleasure to call a friend attorney general. And I think that that's very important to understand how ground shaking and that is groundbreaking that is, because Matt Gaetz is a man who communicates with folks on X. He engages. He comes in X spaces and talks to the regular people, takes questions, tough ones, talks to people who are defectors of his and don't really like him, and he still treats them with grace, honor, and kindness. And I think that that's important. This is a man who not just serves his district, but he serves the country. Him leaving is the absolute most courageous and honorable thing that a member of Congress appointed by a president in slim margin circumstances could have done. So I commend him, I applaud him, and I think others in the future should lead by example to immediately vacate so that they can create the least amount of time of an absence of a critical vote. There's nothing that the Democrats can do. We hold the majority in the House currently. So on this lame duck president's last few weeks, there's nothing that can be done. Anything he does through executive order, Donald Trump will undo on day one. There's nothing legislative he can accomplish. So the reality is in my opinion, Leo, shut it down. Shut the whole goddamn thing down. We can reopen government on January 3rd, 2025.
So I agree completely with you on that. Will they do that though? Or will Johnson push through another funding bill of December 31st? Because they're going to try, right? I mean, they're going to try to put something else through.
I think if Mike Johnson, who's a man I know, a little thing for your viewers, I've said this till I'm blue in the face, but you never know which audience you're touching. I was one of the few people who encouraged Mike Johnson to run for speaker. So much so I have a text message from him when he decided to put his hat in the race saying, George, thank you for the encouragement. I've decided to throw my hat in the race. I hope I can have your support, in which I replied, I don't know. Can we swear on your show?
Sure.
I said, it's about fucking time because that's how much I believed in Mike Johnson. Now, Mike Johnson, in order to remain speaker, I just requested today that my friends, my colleagues, give him a factory reset, pull him out of the plug, wait 30 seconds, and then plug him back in. He should be good as new, and he'll understand the mandate. He'll go back to the impeachment defense days when he defended President Trump twice against two frivolous impeachments.
Well, that's good to hear because, boy, we kind of lost a little bit of hope in Mike after all the funding bills and the CRs. Too. Did you? Yeah.
I did too. Oh, yeah.
You never know what somebody's going to do, George, until you put them in there. And I guess that's the last point. And we'll talk just about that. And then I'm going to get you out of here because I know you got to catch a plane.
Thank you.
So how do we, I'm trying to start. So I have a website and I do this whole 9 yards. And I'm trying to create a rhino removal project 2025 because I honestly think.
Sign me up. Where do I sign?
You're Here, part of that?
I got my good pen out. Where do I sign? Where do I sign? I'll sign right now.
I'll send it over to you. But I've learned just being on X that so many people don't understand that certain people are rhinos in disguise. I mean, they're the fakest Republicans that are out there. You know, you look at some of the easy ones like Romney and Lisa Collins and Lindsey Graham and some of your buddies in New York that were...
No, I'll put it this way. Let me do it this way. There's nothing better to determine a real Republican towards a Republican in name only. And you know what that is? Their congressional report cards. I ranked at 96.4.3%, and I'm damn proud of that score. It ain't perfect, but nothing's perfect in life. I do get a little happy with some progressive issues like water or air, things that we kind of need to survive, and they're deemed progressive. So yeah. I have that tendency. I think nobody should be drinking a dirty glass of water or breathing dirty air. So, and some of those projects, unfortunately, come from the left, and I did vote for a couple of those things and do some amendments. But the reality is it's very easy. Look at their report cards. About 60% of the House Republican conference ranks under 70%. That's embarrassing. There are 60% of them ranking under 70% conservative voting records. I don't understand it. It actually hurts. Now, I will say this. You'll find some members have tougher jobs than others and have to take what is called a tough vote. So the only group of people I give a pass to are the members serving on the House Ways and Means Committee. It is not easy to serve in the powerful taxation committee. You're going to have to put forward some pretty rabidly crazy crap because you need to make ends meet with such a out of touch deficit, with such a bad budgeting habit that we've had of living on and funding the government through CRs. So yes, you will find some of those members. I have personally given a pass to members like Vern Buchanan, Claudia Tenney, but not even all of the members in the panel you give a pass, because you'll see some of them in the mid to higher 70s, and then you'll see some of them in the 50s, and you're like, what are you doing? So I understand a bad bill because it's a necessary thing, and somebody has to do the dirty job of, talking about taxes, and you just get stuck with that. But even those people, they try their best, but it's easy. Compare votes based on continued resolutions, stopgap measures, debt ceiling caps. I never voted for any of that crap, and I wasn't ready to do it. That's how I'm able to put my head in my pillow at night and go to sleep.
So, and we all, it's like my father used to say, you have to be able to go to bed at nighttime with your conscience clean, or you're not going to sleep.
Amen. Well, you know what? Cleanish.
Yes. Well, we're human, right? So we suffer from the human disease. We're imperfect. So I'll ask you one last question, and I'll get you out, my friend. So what's the number one thing? Term limits. I know we want to stop stock trading. I wish we could put a rhino clause in there so that when their heritage score, their liberty score starts to drop, and they've run a campaign, because my concern is always a senator gets 6 years. They can run on anything, say they're America first, get their ass in there, and then become the deep state, No,
vote like a deep state shill for 5 years, and then vote like an America first for the last year so they can get reelected. Yeah, people have short-term memory when it comes to politics, and they forget. You see people who were villains yesterday become heroes today. I'm not going to get into that because you know what? We take them as they come. But here's the reality. I think term limits is imperative, but there's nothing more insulting than stock trading. The insider trading, which is a big point of contention for me. I spoke a lot about it when I was in Congress. I co-sponsored Democrat Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger's bill because I just believed in it. It's like, I don't care who wrote it. It's abhorrent and obscene to see all these family members and spouses. Look, you and I go to sleep. We have spouses. We talk to our spouses about pillow talk, and it's about how we're going to make the bills ends meet. Nancy Pelosi, Dan Crenshaw, they go to sleep and talk to their spouses, and they're talking about how they're going to make more millions based on, work today. Yeah, the CHIPS Act's coming out tomorrow. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Good night, honey. Come on. We can see you. Talk about expensive pillow talk, but I'll leave this with you. I have, and it's not my idea. It's something I saw years ago, and I still hold true to this ideology. The day that we pass a bill that mandates that in order for a member of Congress to be re-eligible for re-election, he or she have to work within the Congress they serve in to pass a balanced budget and 12 independent spending bills. If that specific Congress fails to do that and needs to get a continued resolution, all 435 members of that Congress are ineligible to run for re-election in the subsequent. Meaning, if you create a system that automatically purges itself by creating ineligibility to run for elected office again due to failure and dereliction of duty, you don't need to worry about anything else.
That is exactly right. Well, George, listen, man.
Very efficient.
If it's, well, they take care of themselves very well, the deep state.
Oh, they do. They do.
So, my friend, go have a blast in D.C. and enjoy yourself. When you see Gates, tell him I can't wait to see him as Attorney General. That'll be absolutely classic. Any other surprises for us? Did you see coming down the road?
I'll say this. There's a lot of good people still left to be appointed to a lot of good positions. I wouldn't be too surprised. I know that there's a lot of fodder around the Secretary of State being Marco Rubio, although we haven't seen an official confirmation nor denial. And Rick Grenell is very much, from what everybody talks on social media, in the running for that position. Both great men. But don't discount either one of them from being out of this game. And you still have guys like Bobby Kennedy, and you have guys like Dan Bishop that are still out there. There's a lot of good men and women still in the lineup and ready to go. So stay tuned. This is like a telenovela that is literally keeping you on the edge of your seat each day for the next episode or the next drop. And it's amazing. What a time to be alive.
It's like I tell all my America First brethren, I'm like, it's like Christmas, but a month early.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Today it felt like Christmas. Today at approximately 4:00 in the afternoon, I literally thought it was Christmas. I'm like, wait, Matt Gaetz, AG? Santa, where are you?
And I'll leave you with this, my friend. Rubio was confirmed.
You see, information is flowing so fast that I missed the announcement from President Trump. So thank you for that, Leo. It's been definitely a busy afternoon, so I appreciate you giving me that here. No,
man, I'm here for you. Listen, you got to come back and be a guest.
I will come back anytime. I'll give you more time. Unfortunately, the clock shifted on me today, and I got to make my way to Teterboro in a few minutes. So I appreciate you, and thank you very much for having me on the show, Leo.
Thanks, George. I appreciate it. Safe travels tonight.
Thank you, sir.
Take care. All right, my friends. George Santos, New York District 3. We all know the story. I like George. I think he's an interesting guy. He knows his stuff. He understands what's happening there. And he's a fun person to kind of plug into and talk a little bit about some of the stuff that's taken place. He told you about Matt Gaetz. You guys know tonight, so you heard tonight that Gaetz had resigned. So it's just an incredible time. They switched the cheat to the Senate races. Yeah, I saw that, RV. So let's get to some chat. So they switched. I see where Casey's got a recount, but I don't think they got a snowball as hell there. Is there something else happening out there? I'd like to see Havday do a recount, and I think he should, with 99% of the vote coming in Wisconsin at 3:30 in the morning, all for one Tammy Baldwin. So I agree with you there, RV. And then Nevada, the 26,000 ballots that were deleted, and this is just off the top of my head. So there is some stuff that we need to look at. We're going to end up 53-47 Senate, unless they can prove something else, which you guys know after the fact it's almost impossible. And probably right around 121 to 114 in the House. Or 221 to 214 in the House. So, and the way Trump is adding people, it's just a very interesting time. Interesting time. So, so much going on. So much happening in the world. It's just crazy. It's crazy, all the stuff that's taking place. I do feel like a kid in a candy store. These last 8 days have been, liberating. It's hard to believe that we went through 4 years of not having any hope. We just felt like we were just a punching bag and constantly taking whatever. And we're not. And now Trump is coming back with the mandate, and he's making all these things happen. He's doing all these wonderful things. And he's bringing in all these great patriots. A lot of diversity. Elon, Tulsi, Vivek. You're going to probably see Bongino, Kash Patel. Pete Hegseth. I love that. I love it because Trump isn't just doing these next 4 years. He's given people like J.D. Vance and Pete Hegseth and Matt Gaetz, and he's given all these people, Tulsi Gabbard, Mike Waltz, Elise Stefanik, he's putting it in the UN. I mean, he's giving these people a platform, and they're young people. He's understanding that America first and MAGA, what happens these next 4 years, because you see how dug in the deep state is. I mean, Thune's got a 42%, a 37% heritage score. He's a fucking failure. He is. He's a rhino. He's a failure. They're talking to Susan Collins or Lisa Murkowski, and these people got a 9% score. The deep state is the deep state, and the establishment is strong still. So we can't just go out saying, "Oh my God, I'm going to celebrate. Everything's great. We're good." It's not like that. We're winning. Trump won. He won a mandate election. We won the presidency, the Senate, and the House. Even with, I can't even imagine what all they've still tried to do behind the scenes. But we still have Thune, and we still have Johnson. And Johnson, to what George said tonight, and George likes Mike, so let's hope that when they plug Mike back in, he does start operating like an America First person. If not now, never. Like these people, Lisa Collins and Murkowski and these people, Lindsey Graham, they voted for Merrick Garland. Do you understand? Understand. They are doing things, and they have voted for people that is not in their party. And yet they're going to say, "Oh my God, we can't vote for Matt Gaetz." I'm not even the greatest, the biggest, most massive fan of Gaetz. I think he's really good at being part of the Me Too crowd. But he's America first. His scoring, his grading, how he votes, what he's tried to do, is undeniable. And would he be somebody who would support Trump, would not stab him in the back, would not be Bill Fat Ass Barr or Robert Mueller or all these people? Just think about all the nightmares and all of the deep state people that we've had to deal with. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. But it's real. It's incredible to me. Sometimes I don't understand how DC got to where DC got to. But if you understand what Trump is doing now, he talked about the recess appointments, and we talked about that on the show tonight. That is so important. That's imperative. Because he's doing things like You see Thomas Massey, the video on X where Massey, the reporters are chasing him, and he turned around and he said, hey, he's the attorney general. Get over it. Recess appointments. So Trump has waited 4 years for this. 4 years. And he's worked tirelessly, and he's worked with an extreme effort and a determination to win, because he knew it was him. He knew he'd be in prison the rest of his life, but I guarantee you, I don't think he ever thought about that as much as he thought about what was going to happen to hundreds of millions of Americans. That's firmly how I think he processes stuff. That's his thought process. It's the way he thinks. So, my friends, we've got so many good things happening. So many. This is like a dream team, this administration. And they're young. Trump is trying to set up the bench strength in MAGA for decades. And he has. J.D. Vance. Everybody now understands how good J.D. Vance is. He's probably your presumptive 2028 candidate. Maybe. But if the 4 years go the way we think they're going to go, and he has Trump's full support, you're talking about Vance. You're talking about Vance who? Vance Tulsi? Vance Vivek? Vance DeSantis? There's a lot of ways in a lot of areas that the Republicans can go, and they're just getting stronger and stronger. And the great thing is they're not the establishment. We, just like the left right now, has to understand that progressive liberalism is no longer wanted. It's gone. The most of the moderate left wants no part of pronouns and pedophilia and gender mutilation and all the shit that these people believe in. They don't. Just like me, I don't care what your sex or nationality or your religion. I don't care. If you tell me you're a gay Ethiopian and you're America first, well, God bless you. I love you, because we're America first as long as you came here legally. I wouldn't want to sick Tom Homan on you. That dude, I don't think anybody wants that dude on him. But that's the reality. That's where we're at right now. We've won a mandate election. He's bringing in great people so that he can hit the ground running and be dynamic now. John Radcliffe in the CIA. Oh, my God. Lee Zeldin, one of my favorites, EPA. Susie Wiles, first woman chief of staff. But he's a misogynist and he's a sexist and all these things, right? You know, things are good right now. I'm happy. We've made a lot of progress. We've done a lot of good things. But the fight is far from over. And the next thing we have to do, we have to support Trump. We have to get his people, his appointees, confirmed. That has to happen. He deserves that. They brought in Mayorkas and Sullivan and Blinken and Buttigieg and some of these clowns. Are you shitting me? Merrick Garland. And they got pushed through. So I don't want to hear no shit. I don't want to hear nothing. His appointees are dynamic. Push their ass through. Let's get on with saving America. Let's get on with making America great again, right? Well, he is, and he's doing it for more than just one term. And that, if you take away anything tonight, if you take away, we have some great people, some people that are going to jump on the show. George Santos, thank you again for being on tonight, brother. I appreciate you, man. We continue forward, my friends. Onward. every minute it seems like something cool or something different is happening on here. So, as always, we're going to have more guests on. I'm going to be doing shows, maybe 1 or 2 a week, where it's just going to be us talking like this. I miss that. It's something that's important to me. And there's so much on the fly right now. There's so much happening. I just think it's imperative for us to do that. We need to talk about it. You know what I mean? It's important. So, my friends, tonight's going to be an easy night for you. I appreciate you. You've been America first and you've been MAGA. And you've stood strong and you've hung in there. And why? Because you believe in America. You believe in putting our country and citizens first. You believe in making sure people have to be legal if they want to be here. You want to fight crime. You want to make living as a family affordable and safe again. You want to cut out all the transgender stuff. Over 14,000 kids, young adults, have went through gender-affirming care. 14,000. So as always, my friends, let's keep watching. Let's see what Trump does next. Let's see if it's Kash Patel, FBI, or Rick Grinnell, or Dan Bongino and the United States Secret Service. We're going to see some other great people coming. And then, of course, Bobby. At some point, they're going to drop Bobby Kennedy on us, and that's going to be massive. And then you are going to see all the liberal state-run media sycophants just go fucking insane. They're going to lose their minds. But, hey, they deserve it after the 4 years they put our ass through, right? So thank you. Thanks again to George Santos for being a guest tonight. George, safe travels tonight, brother. I appreciate you. Thank you all, to all you Patriot Jungle people out there that are a part of this America First family. 8 months we've attacked it. I told you we'd win. This is amazing. We did. So I will keep throwing truth out to you. I'll keep explaining this stuff. I'll let you know about recess appointments. I'll tell you what's going on with Gates and those guys. I'll try to get you some inside sources, and I'll try to give you guys information. So as always, stand tall, be accountable. Enjoy. Enjoy what's taking place today. You've waited a long time for it. You've worked hard for it. You've been a part of something. And we have so many great patriots who are changing the true course of nature, the true course of America. MAGA is strong now. America First is strong. And they have to support him. Remember that. Your congressmen, your senators, rep them a new one. Because they're a bunch of fake rhinos. They're a bunch of pathetic people. They really are. Remember, the Rhino Removal Project 2025. More will be on its way about that. We are going to fillet some people, and we're going to bring them and their pathetic, shitty, fake Republican asses up in front of you so that you can see it, you'll get to understand it, and then we'll get to make appropriate decisions based on that. That's all I want you to do, is I want you to understand if somebody's got a 42% score, they suck. They're not voting for you, so quit voting for them. You understand? Elon's talking about if people don't support Trump, if they don't support his nominees, that he wants to go ahead and with his PAC and help fund primary people. Oh my God, I might even think about that myself. Could you see it? Leo the Lion. Congressman, Ohio. I don't know. I don't know if I'd make it a week, but thank you guys for being a part of this. Thank you for always being a part of the show. This is the America First Patriot Hour. Tonight our special guest was George Santos. It'll be on my profile. And of course, it's on the website, so you can go check it out. It'll be on YouTube also, and Rumble. And I'll always leave you with this, and it's what Trump's doing to them right now. Trump is roaring loud enough that everybody is hearing him. Don't you think? I think D.C. hears him loud and clear. So, have a good rest of your week. Stay strong, America first. God bless the United States.